Robin here, and I'm back once more with a deck run through for you. Today, or this week, I will be playing the Farstriders again. It's a request from one of our Patreon viewers. If you remember, if you join our Patreon, then if you pledge at the $10 level, once a month we will pick one of the patrons and they can choose exactly what we play. This month's patron asked for us to play Farstriders versus Reavers, and not to do faction, but to play proper tournament decks. Apparently he struggles to beat the Reavers and wants to see how I can do it. He's showing far more faith in me than I have in myself to be able to do this, but I'm not sure how this will go. I haven't picked a proper tournament deck for quite some time, and I think the Farstriders are tough to pick a good tournament deck for. But anyway, here we go. This is my deck. So, for my objectives, I've started with Behead the Beast. The Farstriders are pretty good at taking out enemy leaders. You've got lots of options there, so I think that's worth having in the warband. Brave but Cautious, poor man Sigmar's Boark, but I put it in there. I think it's good if you're going against slightly less offensive warbands, then you've got a good chance of putting off Brave but Cautious. So we'll see how we go with that one too. Ranger Strike. Well, I'm going to be hitting hard and fast in many of the games, I think, so the Ranger Strike, it's a bit of a gamble, but I've put it in there. And then Advancing to Strike, again, I think, especially with the range, killing somebody in your opponent's half is quite likely. Alone in the Darkness, I will double up with Great Concussion in my deck, and it's pretty handy, and especially with the smaller warbands, of course, Farstriders only have 3 people in their team, so I think that's worth having. Change of Tactics, again it goes well with another card, Warning Cry, putting people on guard. Sometimes you do find yourself with a spare activation when playing the three-member Stormcast warband, so Change of Tactics, popping on guard and then changing with a charge action, possibly a worthwhile exercise. Especially with the range, you can almost get that and still not put yourself into major trouble. Chosen Champion, I've had so many games where I've ended up with one of my champions with 3 things on. I think it's worth having Chosen Champion in there. Escalation, almost like a free 2-point glory sometimes. Master of War, this one was iffy about. It's not always easy to score in tournament situations, but it's in there because I couldn't think of anything better. Master Stroke, there's lots of ploys that can do damage in my deck, I hope, so I've put that in there to try and score Master Stroke. Ploy Master for things that are a little bit more in your own control, and Precise Use of Force. I do like Precise Use of Force for the Farstriders because they have a number of different ways of scoring damage, and there can be quite a few bits of damage, so I think having Precise Use of Force is worth it. So they're the objectives, and the ploys to help me get there, and the upgrades. I've got 11 of each. I've gone for 22 card deck there. And of course it's not faction, so I haven't been limited, which means Duel of Wits does appear. So I've got Lightning Blow, as it's not a perfect ploy, but it is +1 damage, which can be pretty handy if you can get, as long as you can get off the shot or the stab. It does rely on you hitting with that first roll, although that's a wasted card, so it's not great, but I do think it's worth having in there. 2 Friendly Fighters and push them 1 hex. That's Ranger's Advance, of course. Worth having, I think. It's slightly limited sometimes, but I think it's a good card. A Rapid Volley could be handy against the weaker warbands to do 2 sudden attacks with the Bolt Storm pistols. They're not always reliable, but you could actually take somebody out with one of those. I think that's pretty good. Warning Cry matches up with Change of Tactics, puts a fighter on guard. Being on guard can be very useful. Duel of Wits is in there. Great Concussion is in there just to annoy Pete. Hidden Paths, I think, is a brilliant card for the Farstriders. It can pop over anywhere on the board almost and get inspired at the end of the first turn. It's pretty handy if it comes out first turn, of course. Inspiration Strikes, another good card for inspiring, funnily enough. With Farstriders, their inspire condition is a little bit tricky, and this just is helpful. Ready for Action. I think that's almost auto-include in every deck. Good for scoring Master Stroke, good for getting extra attacks. Shard Gale, I'm don't know about Shard Gale. I haven't got my turn in here, which may prove to be a mistake. But Shard Gale, all units suffer 1 damage. I think again is useful when you can do this kind of War of Attrition type damage with the shooting. I may regret that, the shooting attacks aren't always that reliable, and perhaps I will regret that. But Shard Gale is in there, and the final one is Trap. which I think is a very good card for the Farstriders. I'm just going through this now. I am wondering whether I should take out something and put my turn in. So it may change by the time it actually hits the table, viewers. I think maybe Rapid Volley or Range Advance or Lightning Blow, any of those, perhaps could lose out to my turn. We shall see. And upgrades, we have Furious Blow. Furious Blow is an Eagle Eye specific card, but Eagle Eye I like when it gets into hand to hand, and it basically if somebody attacks him and misses, they can hit them back and can't be driven back. I think that's pretty good. Lone Warrior, it's Helpful Whispers, Farstrider style. Sharp Eyes, another one for Eagle Eye, giving him Cleave, which is useful in a sort of not so useful against the Reavers in the first game we'll be playing, but if I play other games against Stormcast or something, then it could be pretty handy. Army of One. Now I am denied about Army of One. I've had it in decks before. I've not had it in decks before. I think it's quite good fun. I think it's quite nice with the Farstriders, +1 defense and +1 attack dice. If you're the last one left, I've put that in there. Awakened Weapon, always good, especially when you've got dodgy sword rolls you're trying to get. Deathly Fortitude, maybe a good card later in the game. -2 move, not ideal, but +2 wounds. I'm not really pushing for anything in this game, really, so I think Deathly Fortitude is worth having in there. Great Fortitude, +1 wounds. Great Strength, +1 strength. Light Armour, again I am an hour about this card, sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't. I've put it in this time with a vague hope of getting those sword attacks and making them a little bit stronger because you've got an extra dice. Tethered Spirit, I think is a good card for the Farstriders. Always bring somebody back in your half. And then finally Zealous Defender, considered to be an additional supporting fighter while they're holding an objective. If I can get that card on an objective somewhere near my person who's got Army of One on or Deathly Fortitude, that could be pretty handy. And that Zealous Defender is in there because one of our patrons, I'm sorry I can't remember who it is, I think it's Anthony, he recommends it highly. So there we are, Zealous Defender is in there for the patrons. So that is my deck. I'm suddenly realising that I haven't got any of the Conquest type cards in there which I normally run for the Farstriders, and neither do I have my turn. I'm sure I had good reasons for not putting them in, but anyway, never mind. Maybe they'll end up in there and I'll have to re-record this video. But anyway, until next time, that is my Farstriders deck. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. Should I put those Conquest cards in or not? Who knows? Maybe you do. Should I add my turn? Who knows that too? Again, I'm sure if you think I should, you'll let me know. So do put down in the comments below, and if you are interested in in our Patreon, then do check that out too. We have fun over there, and like I say, you get to shape our content if you do it. Until next time, bye!